The Flash 799, Jeremy Adams writing with Tom Derenick and Fernando Pasarin on the art. Flash, Wally still doing his Starship Captain bit. They're on their way to Granny Goodness to get the baby back. I had fun with this issue, but I will say it felt like the last issue was setting up like something that felt like it was going to be bigger, and it felt like a quick. And I know
it feels truncated for sure.
Yeah,
it feels like this had another 2 issues left.
I thought that this was going to be part 2, and then there'd be like an oversized conclusion in issue 800, along with the other stories. Instead, it wraps up here, and now there'll be like an epilogue or a final like one-shot thing in issue 800 for this run, which is fine, except that I just, like, there we know. The joke that the Terrifics are fighting the big massive stuff with Gold Beetle and the wrestler dude. Like,
Omega Bandman.
There you go. Like that's amusing, but it does kind of feel light and fluffy, Yeah,
no, it definitely feels like Adams had more for this story, and then it felt like they shifted creative on him. Yeah. And so he had to kind of wrap up as quick as he could, and it still feels fulfilling in parts. I really like when we get to the Granny Goodness stuff, and I really liked them, the creatures that are fighting at time point and whatever, and how we never see, Omega Bandman take him out with Gold Beetle. So it's just all this off camera stuff.
Yeah, so the big thing here is that one of the kids that are fighting for Granny Goodness turns out to be Mr. Terrific's son, who was taken out of his wife's body effectively before she died, which is a really interesting and dark little reveal. So we'll see what they do with that. I mean, honestly, what was weird for me about this is that after all the fighting is done and they're on their way back home and it's going to take a while, it was funny to me how it kind of like overlaps the concept of Superman Lost, where Wally gets back and he's got a beard, because for them, they don't actually say how long it's been.
No.
But you would presume with a beard like that, it's been at least a year, maybe 2. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how thick that West hair comes in, but it's definitely been close to a year, if not more.
Which, I mean, it's not been that long. It's not been 20 years because the baby's still relatively a baby. It's not like Wade's suddenly a toddler or anything like that. But it's definitely been about a year because he's got a full beard and his hair's grown out at the top of the mask. He's got the when he first came back after Rebirth Flash suit that he had. So yeah, I mean, honestly, the action is just kind of a bit light and fluffy. It's not like a super deep issue by any means. It just kind of. He gets back with the kid at the end. Linda's happy to see him. But for Linda, it's only been a day. But for Wally, it's been however long it's taken to get back. So, we'll see what they do there. The art's also a bit inconsistent because we've got multiple artists here, as mentioned. And I felt it a bit more in this one. I think Wally, for example, in that last page looks really skinny because the art style is just very different. And Linda's face is very, very, very flat when she's hugging the baby at the end. So I'm assuming that's I don't even know if that's Derenick or Pasarin. Probably Derenick, because
Derenick. Yeah, because Pasarin's usually we can look at Pasarin and know. So if you're guessing, it's probably the other guy. Then
I usually don't have a problem with Pasarin's art, so by logical assumption, then it's probably Derenick. Yeah. But but also not like an amazing issue, right? It's probably one of the weaker issues of the run, to be honest.
Yeah. For sure. I'll agree with all those points.
Yeah. Which is a shame because like the setup last issue was quite good, and I liked that it was including all these characters that we'd been introduced along the run. It almost just feels like the actual adventure had to be cut short because the run was told it was ending. So actually, see when you go back and look at the art, like there's a lot more detail in some of the earlier stuff, and then everything looks really flat towards the end. So the art change really does hit this one, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Anything you want to add before we?
No, we pretty much line up. I was not that I was disappointed, but yeah, I thought, like you said, I thought there'd be at least some wrap up in 800, and that's where Adams would get to, do his goodbye type stuff. So,
well, no,
who knows? Who knows what that story is?
Well, no, we're still getting that, I assume.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, through here, I figured he's the type of writer that would wrap his stuff up, through the story. He wouldn't just have like an issue style wrap up. If that makes sense, like the part 3 would be the final wrap up.
Yeah. That's what we said at the start. Yeah, that's what I expected. I was not expecting this to wrap up with issue 799, but that's what they've chosen to do. And maybe it's because he's got a really cool epilogue idea that he wants to do, which is fine. But it does feel like this arc was supposed to be like 6 issues and got cut down to 2.
I still feel there's meat on the bone with Gold Beetle and Jay. I still feel like
maybe
Adams can come back to that at another time.
I hope so, because it's been a fun little tease every time it's come up. But yeah, it does feel like he wrote the last issue when he thought he was going to get a whole arc, and then he was told before this one, oh no, you're only getting like these 2 issues left, and he's like, shit, because it feels like everything just wraps up so easily in this. Like, it doesn't feel like a big fight with Granny goodness. It feels like they get to her really quickly. Like, everything feels really quick and truncated. So I suspect that's just a logistical and like time problem than anything else. But anyway, what are you giving Flash 799?
I'm gonna give this a 7.
I'm also going to go a 6 with this one, honestly. It's
there you go.
Yeah.